What's up going on, guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to solve conflicting appointments 2, right? It is a modified version of the previous problem, which is conflicting appointments. So let's see what is the difference. So given a list of appointments, find all the conflicting appointments, right? So the difference here is that we need to find all the conflicting appointments, not just checking if there is a conflict thing or not, right? In the last video, all we needed to return true or false, right? But in this problem, we need to return all the conflicting appointments. So how to solve this problem? Maybe the most intuitive idea is to just use an array to store all the conflicting intervals, right? So if we find a conflicting interval, just save in the array and finally return the array at the end. So it will be something like conflict. It is an array, and finally we will return conflict. The questions now is how to find the conflict appointments. So conflicting appointments is just two pair of a pair of appointments that conflicts, right? So for example, so for this kind of problem, before searching for conflicting appointments, we probably first need to sort the appointments, the intervals we sort it by start time, right? So now it's unsorted, as you can see, but we want the one that start earliest will come first. So 2, 3 will start earliest, so it should come first in the list, right? 2, then 3, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, so it is sorted now. Now we start searching for conflicting appointments. So for this, so when it is a conflict, when there is a conflict, I will illustrate it. So in this case, if we have two intervals, this is not a conflict, right? But even if the start time, the end time of previous equal to start time of the next interval, it also not a conflict here, right? So only if the start time of the current the end time of previous is greater than start time of the next, right? This one will be a conflict. It's not, but it's a yes, right? Here is a conflict. So most intuitive idea here is to just compare every two intervals, every pair of intervals. So it would be, we take this one, no, sorry, we take this one and we compare with every other intervals and start from here and compare it with every intervals on the right, right? So this one, compare every on the right, this one, so on and so forth, right? So, but that would lead us to a NT2 time complexity, which is not good at all. So how to, do we really need to compare every pair of intervals here? Let's look at a concrete example like this guy. Right, we have one interval and we have another interval right here, and one more, right? If you can see, no one conflict, nothing is conflicting here. So we first might want to compare these two first, right? Because we start from the beginning. So if these two intervals are not conflicting, then by no means this one will conflict with this one, right? So probably we don't need to compare every pair of intervals. But what if we have something like this? Here is sorted by start time, right? So we compare this one with this one. We know that we know that they're conflicting, right? We know that these two are conflicting with each other. Let's say this could be like this. So maybe we care about the, like for this example, we care about, if we look at the two previous intervals, right? Then we would care about the one that end last, right? Even though this one start first, but it even end after this one, right? So the chances are the one that end last may overlap, may conflict with the next one, right? So probably we will we can use two variables, right, to store the current intervals and the previous interval. So for example, here will be, now I want to start with this one, because for the first interval no we has no interval to compare. So we start with this one, here the current, and here because here is current, so the previous would be this one. So we want to check if they are if they conflict, right? If they conflict, we're going to store in this array. Then before moving to this one, we're going to update the previous, right? This one will be the new current, so we want to update the previous. The previous would be the one that ends last, right? So it will be this one. The previous will stay the same, even the current is here, right? So that's the idea. Let's try to code it down. I think I'm gonna use a for loop here. Let's start with index I from 0 to all the way to intervals of length, right? So now I'm gonna start from 1 instead, right? So the current interval would be intervals at index I, and the previous interval I will store outside. Previous would be intervals at index 0. Okay. So wanna check if they conflict. I wanna check the conflict. Check conflict. I will check conflict. Check conflict between current and previous. So it will they conflict. They will conflict if the current start time, which is 0, is less than the previous end time, which is previous at init 1. So they will conflict. So I will add to the conflicts here, conflict, and push what? So from the output here, probably we want to sort it by the end time, I guess. 5, 6, 6, and 7. So probably I will do something like conflict. Conflict, we have previous and current. Then when a conflict, gonna sort it A and B, gonna sort it by end time, right, in ascending order. B1, okay. So after sorting it, I will put the conflict into the conflict result. Okay. So here we check the conflict. Next step before moving to the next iterations, which means current will be the next, right? Will be the next one. So probably we want to update the previous, right? The previous here will be can be either current previous or current, right? Can be this one or the previous. So we will take the one that is that end last, right? So if the current end time is greater than the previous end time, then I want to reassign previous to current. I want to reassign current to previous. So it means we have a new previous here, but if it is not the case, so it means the previous end time is greater than the current end time, greater than or equal to, then the previous will stay the same, right? So here we come back here, the current will be, we increment 9, we have the new current, and again we compare we check the conflict of current with the previous. So I think that is it. Let's run the test. Just 4 and 4.2. Whoops. It produced wrong result here. Let's double check it. Intervals, previous interval is 0. Okay. I from 1 to length -1, right? I plus. Okay, the current will be intervals at index I. Okay. Check the conflict. If the current start time is less than the previous end time, so it means the conflict will be the previous and current. Okay, we sort it by end time in the same order before pushing it into this conflict array. So before jumping to the next iterations, I want to update the previous. I want to update the previous, right? So if the current end time is greater than the previous end time, I will update the previous to current. Whoops, don't know what is wrong here. Let's I think let's do a debug here. Current 2, 3. We forgot important thing, which is sort intervals by start time here, right? Sort A and B, sort by start time. So A is 0, B is 0. It should work now, I guess. Okay, it works. So that is it. This problem, conflicting appointments, right? So So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.